So I was asked to make pasta rolling pins by a friend of mine, and these are called in Italian Mattarello. They're very long rolling pins. They're about 32 to 36 inches long. And I had to start out with a square piece of wood, and I don't have a lathe, so I needed to figure out a way of making these totally round. So I started by cutting 45-degree angles off of each corner. This is what I'm doing here. So next I use my palm sander to take some of the edges off, just to smooth it out a little bit. I did this all the way around. And I realized that obviously it wasn't going to make this totally round. So I needed to come up with some other techniques to get this thing to be totally round. And here I'm using my oscillating portable sander to use as my next technique. It's fastened to the bench top here, and it worked out pretty good, but still not quite what I needed to get this thing totally round. I'll have to say this oscillating sander did do a really nice job, but just not quite enough. So next I devised this handheld sanding device. I had this I-beam trolley sitting around, and I filled it with sandpaper. I used a mouse pad, a rubber mouse pad, to make a row and put sandpaper inside and double-sided taped it to the mouse pad. Anyway, I mounted a hole saw on the end of this rolling pin. I'm just not happy with the roundness of it. It does still have some edges that need to be taken down with sandpaper. So I'm going to attach this to the drill, spin it, and take it through my sanding jig that I'm setting up. I'll show you how that's done later. So now this is the same mouse pad sanding jig that I showed you earlier, but I'm using a drill this time, and it's a lot faster, almost to perfection. I had to use my hand wrapped around the jig to keep it tight. So here I'm thinking this is not too bad, but still it's just not quite enough, not to perfection. I used gaffer's tape around the end of the rolling pin to keep it tight on the hole saw. Now here I finally found the right technique. I used some PVC ends to attach to my jig, and it worked out great. It kept the sandpaper nice and tight, and I just needed to push the drill through. I just needed to make 4, 5, 6 passes, and it worked, guys. It made the rolling pin totally round. Smooth. So yesterday I didn't film it, but I applied Good Filler wood filler on my rolling pins and Mattarello rolling pins, Italian pasta rolling pins. So now I'm about to sand them. I'm going to use 180 grit first and then up it from there, and then I'm going to apply Total Boats Wood Honey. That's the last step. So that's where I'm at. This sanding is done just to get the excess Good Filler wood filler off and clean it up a little bit. And as you can see, I had a lot of difficulty sanding these rolling pins by hand, but I got it done. And here I'm using my shaper origin to apply my logos to the ends of the rolling pins. So I just applied the wood honey, which we have here, and they came out looking pretty good. So they're just about done. Finally. It was a long process, and I discovered some new things, new techniques, such as my little device here, which I drove the rolling pins through, filled with sandpaper, and I used the drill over there to drive it through. And it worked out. It worked out pretty darn good. So this is the end result. I really like some of the grain in this wood. Very cool. Another project accomplished. Thanks for watching.